Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the Israel Defense Forces continues to deepen its operational achievements throughout the Gaza Strip. Iran is said to have formally adopted a practical policy aimed at destroying the state of Israel. The United States reiterates its objection to Israel's unyielding intention to launch an offensive into Rafah. The Israel Defense Forces continues to deepen its operational achievements throughout the Gaza Strip, with chief focus on the northern part of the enclave, where ongoing battles with Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror operatives at Shifa Hospital are taking place, as well as in the southern sector and the vicinity of Al-Nasser Hospital, where intelligence-driven operations are taking place.
ברצועת עזה אנחנו ממשיכים במבצע הממוקד בבית החולים שיפה. עד כה עצרנו יחד עם השב"כ יותר מ-500 מחבלים שזוהו כמחבלי חמאס והג'יהאד האסלאמי. גם בימים האחרונים עצרנו מחבלים בכירים, ביניהם מוקדי ידע. המחבלים יורים לעבר כוחותינו מתוך מבנים בבית החולים, בשעה זו גם ביניהם מחלקת היולדות, הבניין הקטרי וגם ממבנה המיון ומהמכבסה. בכל אחד מהמבנים האלו חיסלנו את המחבלים שירו לעברנו ונתקלו בכוחותינו. אנחנו ממשיכים בפעילותנו בתוך בית החולים. יש עדיין מחבלים שמתבצרים במבנים שציינתי. חלקם כבר נכנעו, אחרים עדיין נלחמים. אנחנו לא נפסיק לפעול עד שנשים יד על כל המחבלים במרחב.
In the Al-Amal sector in the vicinity of Han Yunis city, multiple intelligence-driven operations have brought about the elimination of dozens of terror operatives, including the destruction of infrastructure utilized by the Islamist Hamas and its terror affiliates.
בדרום הרצועה, במרחב ח'אן יונס, אנחנו פועלים בשכונת אל-עמל. בעקבות מודיעין של אמ"ן ושב"כ על תשתיות טרור חדשות במרחב. המבצע נפתח בעשרות תקיפות ממוקדות של חיל האוויר, וכניסה מהירה מאוד של הכוחות שהגיעו לעומק השכונה, כוחות של אוגדה 98. בשעות האחרונות פתחנו בפעילות ממוקדת בבית החולים אל-נאצר. זאת בעקבות למידע מודיעיני על פעילות חמאס בתוך בית החולים. אנחנו קודם כל אפשרנו פינוי בטוח של השוהים במקום, ובשלב זה כוחותינו סורקים את מרחב בית החולים אחרי אותו תשתית טרור שקיבלנו עליה מידע מודיעיני. בזמן שמחבלי חמאס וגאפ מתחבים בבתי החולים ובמנהרות ואוגרים ציוד הומניטרי על חשבון האזרחים החפים מפשע בעזה, מנהיג חמאס אסמאעיל הנייה ומנהיג הג'יהאד האסלאמי זיאד נחלה מבקרים היום אצל פטרוניהם באיראן. במקום לדון בתנאים שיאפשרו הפוגה בשטח בעזה, הם בוחרים לדון בהסלמה באיראן עם מנהיגי איראן. חמאס והג'יהאד האסלאמי ממשיכים לקבל הנחיות מאיראן.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hosted a delegation of U.S. representatives from the Democratic Party, during the course of which he sought to dispel misperceptions that emerged in recent days.
Good to see all of you. You've been longtime friends of Israel. You're great supporters. It's very important for us to maintain bipartisan support at all times, but especially in these trying times. And I want to use this opportunity of our conversation to try to straighten out and also dispel some of the things that are being said about our bipartisan alliance and the importance of maintaining it.
The Israeli premier initially unveiled an Iranian decision to launch a formal policy aimed at implementing practical measures to destroy the state of Israel.
I don't know if you know this, but I think it was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Iran officially launched, along with Hezbollah, a campaign, which means goes to Hamas and the other H's, the Houthis and so on. But the formal policy is to shift from an ideological position of destroying Israel to a practical long-term plan to bring about the destruction of the state.
Netanyahu went on to address the vital need to achieve victory versus the Islamist Hamas in Gaza.
We have to win. There is no substitute for victory. How do we achieve this victory? That it doesn't nullify the other needs. how to take care of Hezbollah, how to take care of Iran, how to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, which would make this threat 100 times bigger, how to prevent these militias from firing into Israel rockets from Yemen or from Baghdad, precise rockets that could reach this room right now. How do we deal with that? These are big questions, but it starts with a necessary condition, and that condition is that those who launched this genocidal attack must be defeated.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continued by readdressing the goals which Jerusalem had put forth in its quest to rehabilitate Israel's security along its southern front with a terror-plagued Gaza Strip.
What we've set out at the outset with the support of President Biden and the administration, important support, which we appreciate deeply, was to say the first thing, our goal is to destroy the military and governing capabilities of Hamas in Gaza. Hamas has to be eliminated. Not as an idea. Nazism wasn't destroyed as an idea in World War II, but Nazis do not govern Germany. There's still neo-Nazis around, but you destroyed that organization. The second thing was to get our hostages out, and there are simultaneous goals because the military action is what produces the pressure to release the hostages. We've released half. We intend to release all of them. And the third thing is to ensure that indeed that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to Israel again. These are the goals. The people of Israel are united behind these goals as never before. The fourth thing is we also target the leaders. We've killed the many senior leaders, including number 4 in Hamas, number 3 in Hamas. We'll get number 2 and number 1. That's victory.
Netanyahu further insisted that victory is within reach.
Victory is within reach. It's a few weeks away. Now we are told, this is it, last point. Now we are told, you can't do this. If you go into Rafah, you're going to have a humanitarian catastrophe. You're going to have, 30,000 civilian dead. Okay. That's not true. That is simply not true.
The Israeli Prime Minister went on to address every point of contention which the Biden administration raised vis-à-vis Israel's unrelenting intention to launch a ground maneuver into the southern border town of Rafah.
The people won't have a place to go. Well, there's all of the Gaza Strip north of Rafah. People move down, they can move back up. They don't have to go into north of Wadi Gaza, but there's still 65% of the Gaza Strip left open. And people just move. They move with their tents. They have no place to go. Yes, they have a place to go. Second, we provide them food. The problem was not the entry of trucks. The problem was the stealing of trucks, both by looting by Hamas and looting by others and so on. But we're getting that stuff. The problem, water, we're fixing the water line. We're committed to this, not because the U.S. is prodding us, which it is, by the way, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm prodding it. I'm pushing it. These gentlemen can tell you what we're doing.
Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller reiterated the Biden administration's objection to Israel's intentions vis-à-vis the last terror stronghold of Hamas.
Our position has been that it should not go forward in the way that they have contemplated, the way that you've heard us describe it for the past, I think it's 10 days now, that a full-scale military operation into Rafah would be a mistake, and it's not something that we can support. What we have said is the kind of mission that we could support is a much more targeted, limited campaign that could still achieve the same objectives, that could still lead to the defeat of those remaining Hamas battalions inside Rafah, but without massive harm to the civilian population, without hindering the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and without actually weakening Israel's security instead of strengthening it.
Matthews continued by highlighting the Biden administration's apparent conviction that a limited offensive into the Rafah territory would yield the same result as a full-scale invasion.
But you do believe that a more limited campaign could take out those 4 battalions?
We do. And
And has Israel given any indication that they share they share the thinking that this is a possibility.
So I'm not going to, I think you mean with respect to the
With the
plan
limited,
that we,
yeah.
so we haven't actually presented them that plan in any kind of detailed way. That's the meeting that was supposed to be happening today, tomorrow, that was canceled. So it's hard for them to react to something which they have not yet fully seen.
It's worth noting that a number of Israeli, European, and U.S. generals have told TV7 that anything short of a full-scale offensive into Rafah would not yield a decisive blow to Hamas military power, and as such, it would grant it an opportunity to revive its grip over the Gaza Strip in the long run. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. First, I would like to wish all of our Christian viewers a happy Easter. Second, TV7 Israel is excited to announce a new collaboration with Hudson Institute in Washington, D.C. As part of it, I will be traveling the next 2 weeks to Washington to produce a new and initial joint production. It will include some unique insights on U.S.-Israel relations and much more. We will announce additional and very exciting projects that will further enhance the importance of ensuring the peace of Jerusalem and security of Israel, its alliance with the United States, and will also include Europe, of course, Asia, Australia, and the Pacific, as well as Africa, and will aim to stand up for our Judeo-Christian values and faith. Please stay tuned for more exciting updates in the coming days. From here in Jerusalem, I'm Jonathan Hessen. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. And from me, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.